Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. You can't see it yet, but I've got a large canvas. It's on my turntable. I've got my embroidery hoop in the middle, and I've mixed my colours up, but within a modelling paste. So this is all about the texture and the texture that we can create within this creation. I'll talk more about the technique and the formulas that I've used for all of this throughout the video, so I hope you enjoy that. But don't forget, there's always a description box below. If you expand that, there's lots of information in there too. I'm doing something new. I've not done this before. I'm excited. Will it turn out? Who knows? But let's just have a go and see what happens. Let's see what we can create. So let me just show you my colours. So I have mixed a silver, a copper, a gold and a black into the modelling paste. Now, because the modelling paste is white, then it does affect the actual colour, the vibrancy of the colour that I'm using. But I just want to see how it goes. So you can see more of a grey probably with that silver, more of a salmon with the copper, more of a yellow gold with the iridescent gold, and obviously like a pewter or a darker grey with the black. So anyway, I've mixed these colours up. I've used the modelling paste and then approximately 20 to 30% on top as the acrylic paint. So that's the combination there. I'm just going to see how it goes. I've got my canvas ready. It's a large canvas. I've got my embroidery hoop in the middle. Let's go. So I'm going to start off with the gold, and I'm literally taking the paste and I'm going to build up a section around this embroidery hoop. I'm just going to build it up. I want quite a thick layer, and you might have seen one that I've done previously that was all blues, but this time I want thicker layers. I want more definition in the lines, so I am applying a thicker layer on this canvas. So I do want to start in the middle. I want that blank middle. So inside that embroidery hoop, that circle that you see, I will paint. And I'm going to then build up the layers from the outer edge of the embroidery hoop going right to the outer edge. So I'm just going to almost build a wall of that paste around the embroidery hoop. And then I'm going to add other layers and build upon that. It's a little bit like icing a cake, and it makes it a lot easier with the canvas being on a turntable. But as I say, I want more definition with this one. I want thicker lines, I want deeper lines. So I definitely want to build up these layers as we go. I'm going to start with the gold, and then we'll continue with the next colour. So I'm now going to start with the silver, and I'm just leaving a slight gap between the gold and the silver because I want to put some of that black colour in between. That's going to help me create some depth when I use my palette knife to spread the paste across the canvas. And then once I've done the silver, I'm then going to use that copper and use on the outer edges. I'll then add the black. And then what I'll do is I'll then start blending in those colours with my palette knife. It's about building up those layers. As I said before, I really want deep definition with this. And that black's going to really help with the shadow work across this canvas. But let's continue with this copper. I now need to fill this area with my palette knife. And then we're going to get on to doing the texture. So I'm now placing that black between the gold and the silver, and then I'll start blending with my palette knife, and you'll see how this really transforms. I'm literally starting from the middle, so taking some of that gold, some of that black, some of that silver into that copper area. And as I said, this piece is really about the texture and the movement. And I can see how blending that black really helps with that movement of this piece. But now it's just about blending those colours and adding that texture directly from the middle completely to the outer edges. And I'm just turning the canvas as I go, doing quite wide swipes with my palette knife to create that texture. Okay, so I've built up all those layers and I'm now going to remove the embroidery hoop. I just want that to remove quite easily. There we go. We've got a sharp circle in the middle. And I'm now going to take you in so you can see that texture across the full piece. And we created that literally with the palette knife, doing large swipes, bold swipes around this canvas as we turned it. Hi everyone, welcome back. Okay, so it's dry. Let me show you if I can fit it all in the camera. Oh, I hope you can see it. So all the texture is dry on this and I added the colour to the texture. I'm going to be honest, and dare I say it, I don't like it. I don't like the colour. But we're artists and we're going to enhance it and turn it into a colour that I'm more happy with. So I'm going to take you down to see the colours and then I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do with this piece. So let's transform this. So here we go. Here's a close-up of this one. I actually love the texture. There's nothing wrong with that. And I do actually like how that black has blended in with the gold and the copper. But the colours don't actually match what I really intended. So I'm going to do a silver middle, then a gold, come out a little bit with a pewter, and then a rose gold. So here are the colours. I'm using Deco Art Metallics. I've got a pewter, a gold, and a rose gold. I've got Pebio's Iridescent Silver, and I've just mixed them up. I'm using a little bit of water mixed in with these, so when I'm doing my brush work, it's going to be more fluid on the canvas. So there are my colours. They're all mixed up. Let's transform this piece. So I'm starting off with the silver, and I've decided to paint the silver in the middle. But I don't want a block of colour. I want to see some of that texture and brush stroke. So once I've covered the silver area, I'm then going to go around the canvas by spinning the canvas with my paintbrush and just adding different brush strokes to this middle section. That's going to create almost like a different depth to that middle, but without the texture element. And you can see here I'm just doing small brush strokes whilst turning the canvas, and in turn that's creating different shapes and different textures within that piece. I'm now applying that gold, and I'm going to do that gold all the way around. And then where you saw that black, where it's kind of quite dull at the moment on that canvas, I'm going to go over that area with the pewter. And then on the outer edge where you saw that copper, I'm actually going to paint over that with the rose gold. I'm much happier with these colours. I'm really pleased that I changed the colour palette up, but I'm just using the brush now to do some blending. I'm going to take you in so you can see the final version. It will be the wet version first, and then I'll show you the dry version. It's not going to change that much, but I can't wait for you to see this. Here's the final version. It's dry and I'm so much more happier with it. I absolutely love that texture. When you go close, and I'll take you close in now, you can see all that different texture on the canvas. But by painting over the top of those original colours, I'm much more happier with the colour palette itself. I think it goes really well together. These metallics, that gold, that silver, that pewter, and that rose gold. I'm so happy with this. I'm exploring, I'm having fun, and I'm just seeing where my creativity takes me. I hope you've had fun too, and I really hope I get to see you again in the next video. Have a great week everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye!